This year's Liberty Day came with a wonderful gift from High Command. The R2124 Constitution Rifle. Helldivers across the fleet have been rejoicing at being reunited with their beloved childhood companion, and with good reasons. Namely, the new ability to shove a foot of democratic steel straight down the necks of our enemies. My name is Commissar Kai, and today I'm going to show y'all how to take this ceremonial relic of the past and fight with it as democracy intended, with outrageous amounts of hatred for our enemy and patriotism flowing through our veins. Let's take a look at what Grandpa Kai's rifle can do. Now, if I'm being honest with y'all, this weapon ain't the greatest. In fact, it's probably the worst gun in the game. It does 180 damage at AP3, has a 5-round clip, rounds reload, and iron sights and the stabby bit at the end. Basically, it's a diligence counter sniper from hundreds of years ago with everything that makes that weapon amazing stripped completely away. But despite these challenges, I decided to spend 15 hours of my life, sweet Liberty, what's wrong with me, to really see what magic I could make happen with it. And I'm pleased to report that I found one simple trick that makes this weapon much better. All you have to do is lower the difficulty. On Super Helldive missions, taking Grandpappy's rifle is really just a flex on the enemies of humanity to show them that when you have Liberty Bells this big, there is just nothing they can hope to do to further their evil existence. There are just too many heavy and medium armored enemies for it to be an effective weapon on its own on Helldive and Super Helldive missions. But when we lower the difficulty and set some restrictions on the rest of our loadouts, we can start really having fun with it. And fire! Not one step back. Fix bayonets and charge.
Oh, I've been stabbed.
Oh, I got punched.
A moderate amount of friendly fire in my back.
So that's what we're gonna do. Today, we're gonna fight the bots and bugs as our ancestors intended, with frankly absurd amounts of artillery, mortars, and old school tactics.
Make it rain. There's another tank over there.
380s.
Which direction?
Yes! For our loadouts, we're restricting the whole squad to just a single support weapon between the 4 of us. And it had to have existed in the previous Great Wars of Vanilla Earth. Eagles were restricted to just the strafe and run and all forms of napalm were banned, with sentries being limited to just the basic MG sentry and mortar sentry. Our reasoning here is that they could simulate another machine gun or mortar emplacement from further down the line helping us out. We also couldn't take nothing that ran on batteries, so no shield packs or guard dogs. We're also all rocking the new DP00 armor with Democracy Protects, which will come up later. 2, 1, stem. Bring it here, you bastard!
Oh, I think I got it.
Oh, it hurts.
There we
3,
go.
2, 1, stem.
Stem.
Go!
Oh, bring it. Stab.
Oh, it's chunky sounding. Oh, he got like 2 Democracy Protects. Damon is the victor. He is the king of the bayonets. Finally, we cranked the difficulty down on bots to level 6 and on bugs to level 8. Now, here's some of y'all saying, but Commissar, if you're not playing at the max difficulty, then your opinion don't matter. Real Helldivers only play on Super Helldive. I don't know what form of terminated brain rot has infiltrated your mind, cadet, but listen up because I'm only going to say this once. We do not dive into hell just because we have to stuff 7 pieces of super uranium into our pants. We do not do it to get the highest kill counts possible or to flex on the casuals with our skill. We do it because we love freedom, democracy, and fun. I can take on a Super Helldive mission solo with nothing but my senator and smoke grenades. But would I enjoy doing that? Hell no. It would just be pain and misery, all to get a little bit of internet attention. Plus, someone has to look after the dad divers, casual divers, and the Butterfingers Brigade. And that someone might as well be me. Command has given me a chance to call for bayonet charges on outposts, and I ain't gonna miss out. And since they refused to give me more than 24 Helldivers per mission, I asked. The only way to make my ridiculous fantasies come true was to lower the difficulty enough for there to not be 30 Devastators wheezing towards a breadline for me to feed them a subsidized orbital napalm barrage. The idea is that it should be a big deal when something like a tank, factory strider, charger, or bile titan shows up. On max difficulty with unrestricted loadouts, these targets all have proper answers and don't require much in the way of teamwork to handle. When you're on difficulty 8 with just a Constitution, Senator, and frag grenades, a tank making an appearance is a problem that the squad needs to handle together. Alright, come here, tank.
What if we just stab it?
Have you met democracy? Here we go. Get on top of the turret.
Just doing it the old-fashioned way.
Careful, careful, we stab each other. Yeah, there we go! Stab the tank to death. Absolutely.
Oh god, that was amazing.
But despite the lower difficulty, there's still a lot we can learn about teamwork. So let's get into it. First, we dropped on bots, since charging gun lines with bayonets felt more thematic than practicing our taxidermy skills. We went with the theme of the Great War loadouts, so we came packing 4 mortar sentries, 4 380mm barrages, 2 walk-in barrages, and a few other bits and bobs to let us set up defensive positions and make the enemy pay for every inch in oil. Even though this is a ridiculous meme setup, there were still some moments that had me question everything I know about the meta and loadouts. Despite having only one support weapon between the whole squad and a complete lack of precision ordnance, we were still able to have ridiculous battles like this.
What do you have?
Our fire is...
I'm going in. I'm going right. Give me this.
Watch those
Oh,
rocket
God.
fires.
Shit! Get him, Shady! Burn
Oh,
him
they're
out.
all... Back up, back up, back up, back up. I'm gassing that.
Back up.
Grenading.
Back up.
Grenading!
You think I back up from these?
This man.
Touche. Come on, get
You
some.
think I back up from these?
Get
I
some.
live.
Come here. Come here. Come on.
Oh,
Got him.
you cut him in half. Let's go. I want y'all to take 2 things away from this. First, that focusing your fire always makes your squad more effective. It don't matter what kind of primary weapon you bring to a fight. If your whole squad is shooting in the same direction, then you can do some serious damage to whatever bot or bug had the gall to think their ideas are worth anything more than a bullet. And second, piling on mortar sentries behind a defensive position is incredibly effective. Like, shockingly effective. Since the mortar sentry is the only one that can shoot outside of its line of sight, and you can focus its fire with the cross-compatibility ship module, you're even able to take down tanks with this nasty little Patriot bot. Plus, any patrols that wander near your AO are going to get a weather forecast of spicy rain with a chance of liberation. I was simply not prepared for how effective 4 mortars set up in a prepared position could be. But this does make me think of more ways to make this an effective setup in a quote-unquote real game. In addition to the effectiveness of the mortars, orbital barrages like the 120, 380, and walk-in barrages pair extremely well with the mortar pit. The mortars, lacking a ping designation from the cross-compatibility module, will fire on the closest bot to them. So any bot that manages to soldier past the 380mm barrage is going to be hit with a massive 128 impact grenades per minute. For 3 whole minutes. Aside from factory striders, there is nothing the bots have that can survive that type of barrage. Especially not when they just waddled their way through a 380mm barrage. Since we're only armed with our constitutions, sidearms, and the stratagems we talked about, our squad was forced to work together if we wanted to succeed. And this was true even when I ran it on Super Helldive using the Constitution with 3 other incredible players.
Alright, stick together as a 4-man. If we stick as a... we should have done that from the start.
Yep.
We could do another bug game after this if you want. It'll actually go well if we stick together. We need to, literally hold a line and stay... we need to, hold a line, use our muskets until they get close, and then we all start stabbing.
Right here, y'all. We got a turkey shoot. Turns out, the Constitution was the glue we needed all along to be able to recognize the value of teamwork. Beyond the memes, this weapon is genuinely a great teaching tool for precisely this reason. If you wander off on your own with it, something as simple as a heavy devastator can punch your ticket to a freedom camp in the sky in a hurry. It takes away your ability to fight your own private wars, so you're forced to get creative and work together. This is an incredibly valuable skill to learn, and not just with Helldivers. Knowing how to work together as part of a team will serve you well even in the real world, where answers to questions are a bit more complicated than just shoot it in the face. Now, I know that I have the Riz, as the kids like to say, and my commandos will follow my orders without question.
I'm going in.
This is a walking barrage. Oh,
No, it isn't. This is a 380. This
That's
is
a
a 380.
380, sir.
Oh,
You're in
never
the
mind.
380.
Hit the deck.
Democracy
in.
protects.
But I only got to that point by learning how to be a good follower before I learned how to lead. Approach the game with humility and make the attempt to work together with your teammates. If they're not receptive to it, just do what you can to make their life easier on the battlefield and you will improve your team play skills. Before we move on to the bugs, the commandos and I invented a new little game that I'd like to show y'all. But first, you should like this video. That one click is the best way to support the channel and manage democracy by helping spread the word of cooperation and team play to the rest of the fleet. If you're in need of friends to try ridiculous World War I loadouts and to bayonet fields of bots and bugs with, then enlist in my platoon by joining the Discord linked in the description below. My commandos are the most active Helldivers in the fleet. We always love meeting new people. Finally, I am halfway to my goal of funding the new Super Liberation PC so I can stream games for y'all. If you'd like to help in this endeavor, check out my coffee and get exclusive access to our Super Citizen chat and the privilege of bugging me whenever you'd like. Wait, bug me whenever you like? Who the hell comes up with this crap? Anyway, the troops and I invented a game we're affectionately calling Helldiver Roulette as the perfect way to unwind after a long campaign. All you need is 4 sets of Democracy Protects armor and, well, you'll see.
Group up.
And 3, 2, 1, say cheese.
Oh, everyone's down. That took everyone.
3, 2,
Oh, the body part just
1.
right down.
I lived!
Of course.
Oh no! With our spirits high and our bodies in pieces, we moved to the bug front where we quickly learned that you can bayonet down anything smaller than a Bile Titan. Stalkers? Check. Impalers? Check. Chargers?
Get him, get him, get him, get him, get him, get him. You got him.
He just died? What?
Yeah, you got him.
Super check. Frankly, I was shocked at how effective bayonet and chargers to death is. You can do it in basically 1 stun grenade duration if you have at least 2 Helldivers stabbing the dang thing. But basically, if it has more than 4 limbs, you can stab it to death with a surprising alacrity. The Constitution itself also isn't terrible at dealing with like alpha commanders, hunters, or other forms of chaff, hitting some nice breakpoints with a 3 tap to the head for alphas, 1 body shot for hunters, and 1 stab for anything smaller than that. Keep in mind, this was done using the peak physique passive, so results may vary if you're wearing something else. Frankly, I was surprised at how effective the Constitution could be on bugs, especially when everyone sticks together and sticks the enemy together. To support our hobby of pinning bugs to the wall, we brought the same amount of heavy artillery, but we left the mortars at home, for what I hope are fairly obvious reasons, and brought gas strikes instead. These helped a ton with bug breaches, since slowing the bugs down with gas gave us more time to put rounds downrange from our sentries and constitutions. For support weapons, we brought 1 grenade launcher for digging trenches and popping bile spears if they showed their stupid faces, 1 medium machine gun, and 1 EAT. This was to make up for the loss in firepower by leaving the mortars back on the ship. But don't worry, it still wasn't easy to handle. If you're wondering how in the hell we dealt with chargers with only 1 EAT between the whole squad, well, the answer's simple. We put them to sleep with stun grenades and, well,
Get him.
Oh, I'm getting in on this party.
Freedom's enema.
Let's stab him.
This was effective, but I really don't envy whoever's required to do the cleaning back on the ship. As for strategy, we didn't want to have to kite out bug breaches since our grandpappies had more steel than that. Instead, we brought a couple of sentries along with an HMG emplacement. With the HMG emplacement being able to shred charger leg armor in a hurry, we were able to handle breaches with hardly any issue. But setting up our positions well and making sure we had clear sight lines, we were able to spread democracy on this objective incredibly painlessly, with our only heroic sacrifice being an overzealous Helldiver trying to feed a spore charger a machine gun, forgetting they explode when they die. Looking back on our adventures against the bugs, the only regret I have is not having everyone bring G6 frag grenades. I think a full squad with 3 G6 frags and 1 stun grenade could make this setup even better, especially if you're allowed to bring real primaries. They're just incredibly strong now at deleting packs of bugs with their 500 explosive damage and added shrapnel. So if you've been sleeping on the G6, strap some on and give them a shot, especially if you have teammates willing to pair up with you. 15 to 21 frag grenades, depending on your armor of choice, will make short work of pretty much anything crawling out of a bug breach. As painful as it was at times, I thoroughly enjoyed our outings with this relic of a weapon, and it gives me massive amounts of hope that Command will eventually let us charge into battle with melee weapons. But we did have a few key takeaways from our time using the Constitution, namely that you can make anything in this game feel good to use if you craft a strategy with it in mind and work together with your team. You saw how quickly we were able to stab a charger to death even in the thick of battle, and how our volley fire added enough scrap to the reserve to make a fleet of new super destroyers. This wasn't possible due to the Constitution being a good weapon. In fact, it's probably the worst in the game. Instead, it was only possible because we had 4 Helldivers with a single goal in mind: make this joke of a weapon effective and fun to use, despite its massive limitations.
I always wondered why jammers have are built with terminals that fucking Helldivers can interact with.
Okay, well, we are kind of
Well, Shady, there's a very
commandeering.
good reason for that. The bots are fucking stupid. We're gonna go take that fort, piss off the detector tower. Work.
You mean like that?
Why were they just blowing up? What is
What
fucking happening? What is that?
I was like, I saw
Oh, they're
that.
hitting the mines.
They're hitting.
Oh!
They're stepping on their own mines.
Idiots.
I want y'all to just imagine the carnage we could have caused if we were doing the same type of strategy with the same level of coordination, but with modern firearms. Even something like the Liberator Penetrator becomes completely overpowered if you have 4 of them shooting in the same direction. If you have a mix and match of primaries, even better. But it's not the weapon that's causing the deaths of millions of freedom-hating fascists. It's the men and women of the Helldiver Corps working together to further our dream of a fully democratic galaxy. With the Democracy Space Station coming online, and the possibility of new weapons and stratagems on the horizon, it's only a matter of time before we can take the fight to Cyberstan and root the bugs out of their gloom. You can be certain that my commandos and I will be on the front line in the thickest of the fighting when that day eventually comes. Sending a message to our enemies with the beloved Constitution rifle was merely the first step in our march towards victory. If we can take down the best the bots and the bugs have to offer, even on Super Helldive, with the relic of the past, imagine what we can do with all the shiny new armaments flowing into the fleet on a regular basis. Our truth enforcers have finally entered the war, and they brought some crazy new toys for us to try out on the enemies of humanity. But I will not rest until I can charge a bot outpost with my plasma pistol and chainsword in hand. I'll end on this. I have noticed in the last few years that gamers always seem to be chasing the next unlock or the next prestige level to get that sweet, sweet injection of dopamine straight to the brain. But unlike our glorious stim packs, this feeling is addictive. Don't get it twisted. I am completely looking forward to all the new content coming out in the near future. I'm just saying it's okay to break away from the meta. Liberty save me, I hate that word. To try new things simply for the joy of spreading democracy in as many ways as possible. It's easy to forget that games are made to be fun, and doing stupid challenges like this is just one way of many to have an absolute blast in a game without needing to rely on that next unlockable loot box. Not only do we get to have fun stabbing bugs and hurling mountains of impact grenades at the bots, we forged bonds of friendship and camaraderie as we charged up hills with our bayonets and formed lines to give the bugs a taste of volley fire. Friendships are born of shared interest and struggles. So grab the worst primary in the game, hop on with some like-minded Helldivers, and go spread freedom the way our founding fathers intended. But until next time, this is Commissar Kai, signing out.